So today we are looking at 1.5, which is literal equations. Literal equations are equations that have more than two variables, or two or more variables, I should say. So what is a literal equation? An equation with two or more variables. Please don't talk when I'm talking. So an equation with two or more variables. It's an O. There we go. So, for example, you might have something like 3y plus 4x equals 9, and they want you to solve for y. We're used to solving for something and getting y equals 4, or y equals 2, or no solution. That can still be the case, but sometimes you have too many variables to take it down that far. So, if it just wants us to solve for y, we just get y by itself, and we move on. So, how do I get y by itself for that first problem? Yes? Minus 4x. So I want to get rid of everything around that 3y. So I'll end up with 3y equals 9 minus 4x. What's the next step? Divide by 3. Now, if you remember, at the beginning of the year, I said you can always split up a fraction if you have an operation on the top. So if the addition or subtraction is on the top, you can split that up into 2, and I would suggest getting used to that now because that's what we're going to be doing in the future a lot. So I'm going to split that up into 9 over 3 minus 4 over 3x, and that of course is equal to y. And then I just want to reduce my fractions. 9 over 3 is 3, and then that's already reduced. That equals y. And typically we say y equals, and it's usually negative 4/3 x plus 3. Either one would work. So you'll usually see it like this, negative 4/3 x plus 3. But these are both acceptable for now. Do you understand that? Okay. Is anyone still writing? Okay. Give you some time. When you see something like this, you want to factor that x out. Take it out just like that. And then ask yourself, what do I multiply x by to get 3x? 3. What do I multiply x by to get 5xz? 5z. Why did I do that? Well, if you see what I did here, I undid the distribution because if I distribute it, I'd get this. Why is that important? Well, because I can very easily get rid of this to get the x by itself. If I'm taking an x and I'm multiplying it by that entire quantity, to undo it, I just have to divide. I don't want to distribute because I'll end up with this again, and I don't want what I started with. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3 plus 5z. That allows me to cancel out this entire quantity, and I have my x by itself. X equals y divided by 3 plus 5z. Do you understand that? I just undid the distribution by factoring, and I factored so that I have two things multiplied by each other, and I get rid of the one thing I don't need by dividing it. This on the recording. So I'm looking at number 6 here. I'm going to get rid of that 3 right away. So I'm going to do that by subtracting 3 on both sides. So subtract 3 and subtract 3. When I do that, I get 5x minus kx equals y minus 3. 5x and kx are not like terms, so I have to go to the next step, which is to factor out. What can I factor out on the left side? X. x because I want to solve for x. I'll factor out an x, and I'll be left with 5 minus k equals y minus 3. Okay, and then I'm multiplying, so how do I get rid of that multiplication? I divide. I don't want to factor out again because that's pointless. I'll end up with this, which is not what I want. So divide by 5 minus k and 5 minus k. That's gone. So x equals y minus 3 over 5 minus k. Questions? Yes. 3. No. Yes, I can. So 3. You have to try to get y by itself. So get rid of the thing that's not y, which is this 8x here. We don't like that. So it goes bye-bye. We subtract 8x, subtract 8x. Those aren't like terms, so I'm just going to rewrite it as 20 minus 8x equals 4y. And then I need to get y by itself again still, so I'm going to divide by 4 and divide by 4. Well, these 4's cancel and I just get y equals, and I can always split up this fraction since the operation, which is subtraction in this case, is on top. If we're on the bottom, I couldn't do that. So I can split it up into 20 over 4 minus 8x over 4. Well, that's just 5 minus 2x. That makes sense? Okay. Anything else? So, the good news is, last year when I gave the first test, it was too difficult and I had to curve it like crazy because I had maybe like 4 people get A's. This year, I looked at the test again. I took out some of the hard questions. I made it a little shorter to give you time. And so you won't have to be stressing out on Friday, like I didn't finish the test. But I did leave one question on there, and it's something like this. So, don't let it scare you. We're going to look at it now. When I see something like this, I immediately think to myself, what am I trying to get by itself? L. So, I'm going to get rid of anything that doesn't have an L in it, because I don't need this. Why are you here? Get rid of it. And then I rewrite it. I have an S equals, oops, sorry, not equals. S minus 2WH equals 2LW plus 2LH. Those are just length and height. Okay, so now I say to myself, okay, I'm still not quite there. What do I want to get by itself? I want to get an L. Well, I can't add this and this because they're not like terms, but I can take out a 2 and I can take out an L, but I don't need to take out the 2 here. Normally, when you're asked to factor, you would take out everything that you can. But in this case, you don't have to. You just want to take out what you're trying to solve for, which is L. So you have S minus 2WH equals, take the L out, since that's what you're trying to get by itself. Put parentheses. I multiply L by 2W to get 2WL. I multiply L by 2H to get 2LH. And then I say to myself, well, darn, I'm not quite done yet. So I have to divide by this, since I'm multiplying by it. And that goes away. And I finally have my answer, which is L equals S minus 2WH over 2W plus 2H.